Hi, my name is Julie. I'm a professional counselor in South Carolina, and this is my co-therapist, Ed. Today I'm going to be exploring what it is that causes some people not to speak up, not to make their yes be yes and their no be no. Sit back and let's learn about this together. All right, so let's explore this a little bit. Why don't you say no? Maybe it's because you want to do everything that everyone else wants to do. Maybe you're just a joiner, right? There are some people who are like, yeah, let me in, let me be a part of that. And if that's you, that's fantastic. The world does have people who really truly enjoy just jumping in. They hear an idea and they're like, yeah, let me be a part of that. Sometimes people don't say no because they don't know what they want to do, and so the other person's idea sounds like as good an idea as any. That's usually the result of a family system and upbringing where you weren't allowed to have an opinion, where you weren't allowed to have a voice. The lesson in homes like that is, I don't need an opinion because you're going to tell me what it is we're going to do. And so people with this type of upbringing typically don't say no to things because they're used to being told what to do. Sometimes people don't say no because they might upset somebody else by saying no. They're people pleasers. And this is usually the result of being punished for having a desire and voicing it, something that's different than what other people wanted. And the lesson is, it's my job to make other people happy, even if it's upsetting for me to do so. These people learn the lesson early on that to have a voice and to say no is wrong. I would like, if this is you, to get yourself a paper and a pencil or a pen and write down, it's okay for me to say no. It's okay for other people to not like my no, but I'm allowed to say no. There are sometimes personalities that people pleasers kind of pair up with. And these personalities can be demanding and dismissive and demeaning and devaluing. They engage in a lot of love bombing early on in relationships and then devalue and discard the other person. And the people pleaser is trying to figure out how to get back into graces, and so they're agreeing to everything this other person says. They become a doormat, in effect, because to have a voice is to upset the other person and then to not get what they need. It really is quite sad. I see people who are very empathetic, who are people pleasers, who just want to help the other person enjoy life. And so they're trying to figure out how to best make this happen. They're constantly focusing outside of themselves. And so to say no to their partner would upset their partner. And they can see things from their partner's perspective. Perhaps their partner says, hey, let's have those people over for dinner. But they know in order to get ready for dinner and in order to have a lovely dinner together that they are going to have to go home and clean things up and cook the food, and they're exhausted from working all week themselves. And so in order to keep their spouse, their significant other happy because they go, oh, they have a rough week too, they say okay. Even when they're exhausted, they say yes. They don't say no. Because to say no would be to upset the other person, and it's their job to please the other person. Now, we are to strive to be kind to one another, but it is not kindness to do everything to try and manage the emotions of somebody else. That's not kindness. It's not kindness to lay down and say okay to everything that somebody else wants to do. That's not kindness. That's a doormat. We don't want to be doormats. We do want to be kind. So we can be kind with our no. So if our significant other says, hey, do you want to have, I'd really like to have those people over for dinner tonight. You can say, well, no, tonight's not a good night because I don't have things ready for it, but let's plan on having them over later this week. And they might get upset. If you're in a healthy relationship, they probably would understand that. If you're in an unhealthy relationship, then they might throw a fit. They might stonewall you. But that doesn't mean that your no should have been a yes. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the language, stonewalling is when somebody gives you the silent treatment. It's a form of punishment because they didn't get what they wanted. But that does not mean that your no should have been a yes because they're upset by it. Okay? So why don't you say no? Is it because you're afraid of how the other person's going to respond? Is it because there's something inside of you that says, it's wrong, I don't want to upset others? Explore that a little bit for yourself. This is a really short one today, but it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to digest. Why don't you say no? If you don't say no because you don't feel like you're safe to do so in your relationship, maybe sit down with a counselor and try to figure out, is it because your sympathetic nervous system is telling you that there's danger when it's really emotional discord and you don't like it? Or is there truly danger in your relationship? And if there is, then explore with a counselor what can be done to change it or develop an exit strategy. Why aren't you saying no? Why aren't you speaking up for your boundaries? It's okay for people to say no. It's okay to say no when you've been in an abusive relationship and the abuser is demanding things of you. You can continue to say no. So why don't you say no? Is it because you just love a party and so you're willing and game for whatever comes up? Is it because you don't know who you are as a person and maybe you need to explore that so that you can figure out what it is you want to do and what you don't want to do? Or is it because you're afraid of the other person's response? If it's number 2 or number 3, it might be worthwhile to reach out to a counselor or a close friend that you trust and have a conversation. Figure things out. This was short today. Short topic, short video. Lots to think about. I hope you do spend time thinking about it. I hope you explore the reasons behind why you do what you do, because you're the only one who can do that. Because you're the only person who can explore and know the true reasons, because you're the only person who's inside of your mind. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here at Orange Therapy on YouTube. Whether you are the person who is just up for anything and so you don't say no because you are game for anything, or you don't know what you want, or you're afraid to say what you want, I want you to know you're welcome here just as you are.